I was having lunch with a friend yesterday, a new friend actually, professor in an amazing university in Australia, 2 masters, a PhD, and you know what she said? She said whenever she has to go and speak and she's being introduced, you know, let's call her Mrs. She's Kenyan, let's call her Mrs. Njeri Njuguna, you know, professor of, masters in this, masters in that, research, awards, grants. She just feels like, stop, that's enough. Just don't talk about my accomplishments. And in fact, when she introduces herself, she'd rather just say she's a teacher. And we got into that. And so I think you know where I'm going with this. Why is it that, you know, we diminish ourselves sometimes? Actually, this happens often. There are books about this. Black women particularly, women particularly, in terms of our skills, accomplishments, and the like. What is that about? Do you do it? If not, why not? What are you seeing?
I do not do it at all. And I have to thank my amazing mother for this.
Okay.
I said it, I'm 3rd generation in the diaspora. It's tough. And my mother was 2nd generation in that diaspora. She knew already how tough it was. So she prepared us for it.
Yes.
My mom would wake us up in the morning. While, you know, in Africa, you bathe children until the 20s.
I love it.
We have children until the age of 34, so you know.
Yeah.
So while you're preparing in the morning and she's there, she's telling you some stories about the family. She's talking to you, she's telling you a story about where you come from and your tribe and your people. And she tells you, you are the most beautiful. You are the strongest and the most intelligent woman I know. And she did it for the 4 of us.
Can you imagine
every day?
how powerful that is?
Nobody can tell you otherwise. And if somebody tells you the contrary, to tell them, my mother told me so.
Amazing.
So that idea that I'm worth less was not infused
Just
into
was
me.
never in you. But so how about others?
But I know people. You know, you talked about the angry black women before. We only have 2 boxes. Or we are the submissive one, or we are the angry black woman.
Yeah.
There's nothing in between that exists for us.
Yeah, according to the way we've been classified or categorized out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know so many black women that are from any descent, that they are from the continent, that they are from the diaspora, that they are Afro-Caribbean, that they are Afro-Latino. I've met quite a number, and all of them say the same thing. I am not worthy, I'm not beautiful, I don't fit the standards, I need to work twice as hard, I need to be educated 100 times more, just to make the point that I belong and that I deserve
to be
on the table.
Right.
There's a very fine line with what you say, because one is the psychological, the internal perception that you need to do this to then feel that you belong. But the other is that the reality of those environments is that sometimes you have to put all that there so that nobody can dare question or challenge.
Correct.
Because you're 1 in 100, 1 in 20 people that comes, you know, as a person of color, that level of seniority. But so it's such a fine line.
It's a fine line.
Would you go there without necessarily having enough? I mean, you've got the experience, you've got the masters, you've got all these qualifications and experience.
And PhD, honey.
There we go. So it gives you the right at the table in events that anyone was going to challenge
Amen.
your seat at that table.
But despite all that,
still.
it will always be, anyway, she got the job because she's a woman and she's black.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that we can. So I think, you know, the way I approach it is, so you can't take away
But
my degrees, my experience, and so on. And it's almost like, okay, think what you have to think.
And you know, I want to say it's not a white or black thing. Our African men, that's why I said a woman and you black. Because even in this space, in this our continent, I've not worked outside of the continent for over 10 years. So when here on the continent, our own brother, husband, sister, cousin, father, look at you and say, that's the new trend now.
What's the new trend? What?
Black women.
What?
I'm there because it's the new
What?
trend.
Yes, so
What?
me, I'm there because
You
the new
are
trend.
senior vice
So,
president
our
because of the
own-
new trend.
So it's not only a thing in the
Messi,
thing.
incroyable
It's an
honey.
issue in the corporate world that you have to defend the black woman, yeah, but you also have to defend the woman.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Because here, at the end of the day, you talked about indigenous. We all local communities.
Absolutely.
You know, I say it. I'm a Bantu in Bantu land.
I love
I'm not
it.
Kenyan,
No, you're
but
not,
I'm a Bantu in
Yeah,
Bantu
Bantu
land.
land.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, when you look at that, my own Bantu brothers, I say, that one is because she's a woman. So it goes way beyond
You
this
know,
idea. We
it
have
does.
to prove, and there's that idea that we should be nurturing, and that we should be mothering, and that we should be preserving and conserving, right? Tradition, transmitting. But the idea that we should be the executive, the one on
It
top
almost
of
doesn't quite link with that.
and the culture of being led by a woman
Yes.
Yes.
is something that is still
It's so
problematic
we don't-
within our own community.
Tout à fait. You know, and the thing is this, sometimes we're saying, you know, black or African, but sometimes it's as simple but also nefarious as the patriarchy. And to
Totally.
your point, I was saying to some friends just sometime recently, a couple of weeks ago, black men, black brothers, all of you that I've seen from when we were 20 rising up, and now you're a little bit higher than me because that's how the world is cut. When asked for board director names, or who can get the senior position, or who can go and lead this keynote, are you putting a woman forward? And to my dismay, they're not.
Right.
And I just felt so depressed. that
It's
day.
almost
And I
like they did
remember-
it just with the brotherhood.
Yes.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
remember-
But you know what? Yes, that is a fact. Actually, I want to jump on that point.
Let's just touch that.
Yes.
You know, because to be honest, that day I even said to Shami, I know you watched this. I was like, Shami, I am so depressed because those were the few, the ones that know what we're about. They have sisters. They,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, I'm like, and even you aren't able to say yes. Please take XYZ woman.
So let me jump on that point because I think this is a really, really powerful point. The brotherhood. I like to call it the boys' club.
Yeah.
In every environment, whether it's corporate, whether it's development, honestly, guys, there is the boys' club.
Right.
And I think it's really unfortunate that our African brothers would actually put down an African woman or a black woman when they have mothers, they have sisters, they have daughters. You know, why are you the one out there making it harder for this person that could be your sister, your mother, your daughter, your niece, and so on?
Shocking.
And, yeah.
But it's exactly that.
Yeah.
The role is to be the mother,
Yes.
the wife, the sister, or the niece.
There are only some
Not the
girls-
corporate, not the SVP, global SVP or Africa SVP sitting up
Exactly.
there. But then we have to change the narrative. And I think for our men out there, if we don't change the narrative, who will?
We have to
They
do it.
have to be conscious, they have to be accountable, and they have to own up and change the narrative. That's why we're having this conversation.
That's why we have
because
this
we
conversation.
have to change the narrative.
And you know what? Boys and girls, men and women. That's why I love some of the men, the young men
Yeah.
that are part of our community here. Because there's hope in you.
Yes.
There is.
Only if you take
There is
accountability.
in you. And you know, this is, so don't just enjoy our, 4 years, nearly 50 episodes and just be like, oh, these are powerful women. And sometimes we have men talking about powerful things on equality, on social, about equality, social and economic inclusion and the like. Don't just enjoy from a distance. Do something about it as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And so here's the thing, as I ask my last fun question, because we do have to wrap, I need you to just show us the fabulosity that is behind you. So not only does she come with this, it's really very cool to
Total trip.
sometimes see. Just give us a bit of a turn. Okay? Just give us a bit of a...
Hello.
C'est ça, c'est ça.
That
I
is
had
that.
to go there.
There are jackets and there are
Look at the
jackets.
detail.
Reine.
Wake up. Wake up, East Africa. Parce que nous, on sait que c'est que les femmes de l'Afrique de l'Ouest et centrale qui ont cette notion de la mode, quoi.
And I'm wearing
You know?
a Nigerian sister
It's a
today.
Nigerian sister. So I was saying, we know ourselves.
The brand is
East
a
Africans.
Nigerian woman?
East Africans.
Oh, wonderful.
We know
It's
ourselves.
beautiful.
We do try. But it's usually our more fabulous sisters from Central and West that just put a spin on things. Keep us on our toes in terms of that intellectual rigor, that leadership that you have globally and in Africa. The conservation, right? That I don't know, just seeing you gives others, young girls and boys, but hopefully more girls, permission to enter those spaces. And so I'm going to end with something that is just a curiosity. Names. So my question to you all, as we wrap this up, is what couple of ways have people mispronounced your name? Who wants to start? So give us real version and one or two, that's not how you say it, versions.
So my name is Ngoeyok.
Ngoeyok.
And I think the furthest I got was to be called New York.
That's as far as it gets.
People, Ngoeyok. We like our consonants.
Yes.
Who else?
Go.
My name is Musonda. And everywhere I've been, especially Francophone world, Musunda.
Musunda.
And I say Ukusunda in my language is Tipi.
Bemba. So don't make your name into Ukusunda.
Ukusunda. It's Tipi.
To
Like
make
urinate.
susu.
I'm like, no.
Musonda.
Musonda.
Love it.
Musonda. Okay, so mine is Achieng. That's the correct way to pronounce it. And I've heard three different versions. Aching, and then Aching, Acheng, and Ashing, or Asheng.
Interesting. So the CH.
The CH, you know, a lot of the Francophone
IE is
people.
difficult, it seems, for
And
people.
actually, people have told me my name sounds Chinese. So I've gotten into an Uber and they've been startled in Paris because they were expecting someone from the Far East. And then I rock up with my
Fabulous melanino.
melanin, and they've been very
Love
startled.
it.
So yeah, that's my story on
Oh
names.
my goodness.
Asheng,
Oh God.
and
Well,
everything in between.
yeah. No, listen. So Micheline, you know, the old French name, and you know, I correct people when they say Mitch or Michelin or, you know, but I don't feel that I have to overcorrect. Ntiru is my last name. Also said Niru, actually, where the T is a bit of a silent. But when people in Kenya will do a J, they'll just assume it's Njiru, which is a Kenyan name.
Oh, yeah.
They'll completely misspell my ID, my passport, and then I have to like rework it. Or they'll say, Americans and European, mostly Americans will say Nitru. So confidently. Like your eyes have not seen that it's T then I. And it's so interesting, they'll be like, so, you know, Micheline Nitru is coming up to announce, da, 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 da. And I'm thinking, at some point, I do have to correct it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But you were going to say something.
No, it's you know, my name Ngoeyok. If you Google the name, first 2 pages are me, then a couple of cousins, and then Vietnamese.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Fascinating.
How come?
Ngo means maize, and then Eyok exists as a name in Vietnam.
Really?
My God.
So
Whoa.
I remember going for a summer job in France, and Far East people in Europe mainly kind of Europeanize their name, right? Right. So your name has never been Suzanne, but that's the name. You know,
Right.
your name is not Charlotte, and then you put a Charlotte there so that you
Yes.
fit in.
Yeah.
So I apply for my first summer job, right? I go and I apply, and my name Ngoeyok exists in Vietnam. Ngo means maize. Eyok, that they don't pronounce at all the same way, but it's spelled the same way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Also,
EYOK.
it exists there, EYOK.
Yeah.
So, confidently, go, you know, Suzanne, old French name. It's very common in the Anglophone world to be my age and be called Susan. It's not to be called Suzanne.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I go to a job interview, I arrive, I'm so happy. I only send like 2 or 3 CVs, you know, teenagers. And I'm called for every single interview I got. I got every place where I dropped a CV. I
You
got
got
an
an
interview.
interview.
That empty CV of mine, I thought that, hey, I'm
They
the
say I'm
bomb.
fire.
Yes, I'm it.
No,
What?
the prejudice that comes with being confused for somebody else.
Oh.
People thought I'm going to have a Vietnamese. Those people are hardworking, put their head down, and will do the job.
Stereotype.
Oh.
And then they see me with my melanin. One says, mais vous,
Mais c'est qui
vous n'êtes pas
Qu'est-ce qu'il y
asiatique.
a?
Vous n'êtes pas asiatique. They tell you straight to your face that you're not
in
from
France,
Asia.
France of the 90s, come on.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
vous n'êtes pas asiatique? You're not an Asiatic? You're not an Asian?
Non, je suis 100% africaine.
Say, I think it's visible, right? That was my answer, because I knew at this point I didn't get the job.
Yes, you know, yeah.
What is there to salvage?
So she
now?
also become like them. Parisian to Parisian.
Yeah, exactly. So I think
ça
ça
se
se voit, non?
Yeah.
And I left, and that's when I realized that the reason why I actually clocked all those interviews
It's just in a name.
was for a
A
misconception.
mistake.
Oh my goodness. Oh
That's
my goodness.
crazy.
That is crazy. I didn't even know. I was ending on a light note, but you see
But it is
how...
a light note because I will always clock interviews.
I love
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's a start. Yes, yes.
I love it.
And look at you now.
Girl.
This has been fun.
Yeah.
This has been
Thank
And
you.
inspiring. You are
Merci,
truly an
merci.
inspiration.
I was in presence
So
of royalty,
Oh
so
my goodness.
you know, I
Leave
will
the
borrow somebody else's
jacket.
words. Vous êtes des reines.
Oh,
Thank you.
Merci.
Thank you so much.
toi.
Oui, bien sûr.
Thank
So,
you so
queens and
much.
kings, people, do not forget
Yes,
to
subscribe.
subscribe. Okay, merci. Au revoir.